Hey, welcome to Rubric 10, which is for the Special Education and TPA portfolio. Rubric 10 is the 7th question on task 2, which is your instructional commentary, just to orient you. So what's the guiding question for Rubric 10? Well, you're basically asking yourself, how do I improve my teaching to better connect to my focused learners' strengths and needs in order to help them make the learning goal, and also where my supports are based on research and theory. And Rubric 10 relates to the following other rubrics. In Rubric 2, you would have provided evidence of your focused learner strengths and needs. In Rubric 9, you were asked to describe how your instructional strategies met their strengths and needs to make progress on the learning goal. So now in Rubric 10, you're looking at the ones that you did that could have been adjusted, tweaked, changed, more successful than perhaps what you did before. And as I said to you before, the goal for the TPA is not getting your student to master the lesson perfectly, but for you to apply teaching when sometimes that's not going well. So it's not a bad thing if your focused learner is struggling a little bit, and if you're struggling a little bit. And then in Rubric 12, you're going to be asked to provide feedback specific to strengths and needs. And in Rubric 15, you're going to be asked to provide the next instructional strategies and goals that will support your students' strengths and needs. So you've already put in some thought into answering this question, and you will be using information as you've thought through it here for subsequent work that you do in Task 3. So it's worth your while. Actually, I think Rubric 10 is one of the best, most authentic questions to answer, and I'm going to say more about why in a minute. So the scores in brief for Rubric 10 are: if you've mismatched the student's needs or strengths to the learning goal or your supports, one piece of that puzzle is missing, then it's a 1. If you superficially match to the needs and strengths related to the learning goal, so you have a support in there, for instance, more wait time, more activities, more practice, it's kind of related or unrelated to the strengths and needs, or it's kind of related but not really well related to the learning goal, and there's definitely no research or theory in there. For 3, you want to connect your changes in your teaching that you identify that you want to make to the focused learners, either a strength or a need towards the learning goal, or you can connect changes that you want to make towards that learning goal based on research and theory. For a score of 4, you're going to connect all those dots. And for a score of 5, you're going to add some self-directed learning strategy that's developmentally appropriate for your learner. So what you're going to need to gather for this this rubric is you're going to go on a video, and here's where I say it's valuable. You're going to look on your instructional videos and look for places where you provided instruction, but you feel like you could improve on it. Maybe, and specifically look, are they getting it? Are they not getting it? Is there something else you could have done? Is there a strength that you could have drawn on that you didn't? Is there a need that you didn't scaffold as well as you might have? The time stamping for each moment is not required. So for Rubric 10, you don't actually have to have a time stamp of your evidence, but it helps you go back to those places and then choose the best ones to transcribe. And then think about research how you might improve your instruction in that moment. Could you use a different strategy for your instruction? Modeling? Could you use a graphic organizer? Could you use different materials? Could you use different tasks that you have your student do? And think about how those would connect to the strengths and needs. So why would a particular change in task better connect with students' needs and also better help them obtain the learning goal, right? So you're connecting those 4 things: their strength or need, the learning goal, your support, the learning goal, and then the connection to research. So all 4 of those need to be in place for a score of 4. So think about, again, and then thinking about how your support actually helps them obtain the learning objective. I find this is a little bit more of a difficult thinking for candidates to do. It feels sort of subjective, right? If I model something like that's obviously helping them, like they can follow what I'm doing, and that seems obvious to say they can follow what I'm doing, but following what you're doing in the order of the steps you're doing it, or the pronunciation or what have you, helps them participate in or demonstrate the learning goal. So you've just stated that how there, and you just need to do that for whatever support or change that you make. You can also look for research and theory by going to scholar.google and looking for related research. You can check EdUtopia. There was something way back in the pre-rubrics, a goal. It's gone now, but anyway, back in the pre-rubrics, there were some resources that I identified to help you in this area. Then you're going to integrate these ideas that you find in the research and theory lookup that you did, or what you know from your textbooks, or what you have available to look to find strategies to do. Once you find something that relates to the need and the learning goal, you're going to think about how you might integrate that into your instruction. And then finally, for that 5, it says to time stamp it. So, but again, you don't need to. If you provide a guidance to your student on how to self-direct their learning, awesome. But you can just add this in because rubric 5 points to the future, not to what you did. So I am Dr. Von Duke. I am very sympathetic to teacher candidates and their struggle to achieve this at TPA, which is so impactful on their getting a job and the level of income that they receive. And it can be a very ambiguous, frustrating document at a time when your life is very busy and frustrating. And I feel that your attention is better directed to kids. I also offer a systematic course, which I'm going to talk about in a second, so hang around for that. And I offer consulting, and you can find all my information on Linktree. But I just want to say a little something about the detailed course. So what I've given you here is the short form. My course has all 15 rubrics and the pre-rubric tasks, all the videos. Each rubric has a video, a PowerPoint, and a draft document, and I walk you through that. Each video has 3 lessons, so gathering and marking your evidence, start targeting it strategically for the best score and putting it in a draft document, and then writing it up. And then I also include ways to estimate your score, which I've also done a blog on here as well. And that's available through Teachers Pay Teachers, and that link is there. All right, I hope to see you around at the next set of tasks and rubrics.